It's happening! Hi everyone, my name is Mr. Fruit, and at last, our prayers have been answered. Private matches have come to Destiny. Now note, I said private matches, which are vastly different than custom games, but it's a step in the right direction. So without further delay, let's get into the nitty gritty. I was invited out to Bungie to play and record some Rise of Iron in anticipation of the DLC release, and we got to play on 2 new Crucible maps inside the new private match lobby with the new game type, Supremacy. We also got to play with new weapons and the new game-changing artifacts. I should also note that this was all played on an earlier build, and anything is subject to change, so keep that in mind. Now prepare yourselves for an info explosion. Private matches work as you would imagine. You can host or join a private match lobby with up to 12 players. Inside this private match lobby, the host is able to select the game type, the score limit, time setting, the map, and the daytime setting on the map if applicable. You can then swap and choose who will be on what team, and start the match whenever the host is ready. Some things I had thought to ask and got answers on are, you can swap teams in the middle of a match by pulling up your ghost. If both teams are full and you want to switch, you enter a queue to switch teams, and as soon as someone on the other team queues up to switch, you'll swap teams. You cannot exceed the player limit of a regular game type. So for instance, you can't exceed more than 6 players in Rumble, Skirmish, Elimination, etc. You can, however, have as few people as you would like in a game type. You will receive reputation and drops from private matches, but the amount you gain from the matches has yet to be determined, and no legendaries or above can drop from private matches. You can complete bounties in private matches. They're also fine-tuning those smaller details to ensure people won't be able to boost or attempt to exploit private matches this way, but they also said there's things they can't account for and will tackle accordingly. A good example would be the mishap with 3 of coins when it first released. Private matches are available from the typical Crucible director menu. Private matches are available to all current gen Destiny players regardless of whether or not you have Rise of Iron. Last gen consoles, however, will not get this feature. Those are the questions I had thought to ask, but we'll know more when we get our hands on it with the release, obviously. So any map from any DLC is fair game, any game type on any map is also fair game, and I believe the lowest you can set the duration of a match is 5 minutes. The lowest and highest you can set the score varies from game type. I'm most excited about private matches because there are now so many more opportunities to play with people, set up cool challenges and lobbies with subs, or even see what the community can start creating as far as quote-unquote custom games go. If you guys already have some ideas or creative challenges, comment down below. You guys know me, and this opens up so many more opportunities for content and fun, and I cannot express how happy I am. Again, it's not quite custom games, but it's the next best thing. As for the new game type and 2 new maps we played with, I can say I'm really excited. The maps will always play differently in a live environment, so it's hard to say how the pacing and fights will go, but with the new game mode, it's an absolute blast. If you don't already know, it's Destiny's take on the classic kill confirmed game mode. When you kill an enemy, they drop a crest. Picking up the crest rewards points for your team. When you or an ally dies, they too drop a crest. However, picking up this crest denies the enemy a chance to pick up that crest. Crest will remain on the ground for a minute, and then will despawn regardless of any other factors. It's a very familiar game mode to those who have played a lot of FPS games, but it plays entirely different in Destiny with the addition of its sandbox. It's a frantic and fast-paced game, which is right down my alley. Deciding when to pick up crests, when to deny, baiting enemies, all of these and more are things you have to think about while playing and make for some really fun interactions. As for the new weapons, we gotta use 4 legendary weapons that will be introduced in Rise of Iron, the first being a future war cult hand cannon called the Whale. I wasn't necessarily blown away by this gun, and its low-capacity magazine turned me off pretty early on. We also got access to B-29 Party Favor, a pulse rifle which may or may not be evident of some sandbox changes to pulse rifles, because it certainly seemed to kick a lot more than we know pulses to do today. This pulse rifle is pretty solid, but the 2 guns I found myself gravitating towards were Angel's Advocate, a scout rifle, and Extremophile 011, quite the name, a dead orbit auto rifle. The Angel's Advocate handled really well and had a solid time to kill. The auto rifle, oh well, you know I have a thing for auto rifles. It hit like a truck and didn't kick much. Definitely going to be looking to grab this after release. And of course, we gotta play around with the new Jello horn. It handles like you would expect. Doesn't seem to be any different, really. Rise of Iron will feature 4 new multiplayer maps for PS4 users and 3 for Xbox One users. We gotta play on Icarus, a new map on Mars that features a variety of long lines of sight and close quarters. Icarus will be the PlayStation exclusive map with this cycle of DLC. The second map was Floating Gardens, a new Venus map that once I started exploring seemed pretty massive by most standards, but all the action took place in the center courtyard. Lastly, we got to mess around with the 8 new special artifacts that you'll receive from doing specific quests in Rise of Iron. If you haven't read up on all those, I urge that you go seek those out, because I'll just briefly cover my favorites. Memory of Yolder. This artifact eliminates the sprint cooldown penalty. Yeah. This excited me because it cuts away that pesky cooldown that seems so needless, and also opens up a lot of interesting opportunities for PvP. Just imagine the Titans who can now instantly refill Juggernaut and Striker. Oh man. Memory of Silmar. This artifact reduces damage over time effects. With the return of Thorn in Year 3 and all those Viking Funeral Warlocks, this thing will be a great counter to all of the above and more. Memory of Perun. Highlights Guardians with full super in yellow and Guardians with low health in red. Now I'm mainly addressing people's concerns with this one. It's not a wall hack, and while I didn't use it that much, it didn't seem all that useful to me. I know many people will find ways to best utilize it, but it's not as game changing as you think. Memory of Fellwinter. Oh, my favorite of all the artifacts. You lose your super, but you gain an extra grenade and melee and a slight boost to all stats. Now when I asked what the specifics of the slight boost to all stats were, they didn't have a definitive answer, so I'm unsure, but one thing I do know is, and brace yourselves, it stacks with other perks. That's right, you're looking at the potential of 3 grenade and melee charges. It's going to be amazing as much as it is infuriating, so we'll have to wait to see how they all play out. And that is the bulk of the PvP content I saw and wanted to share with you all. Private Matches is an amazing addition, and I can't wait to make a lot of great content with it for you all. I hope you're all as excited for this DLC as I am.